Hello everybody, welcome to the Common Sense Academy. I'm your host, Joe Palmetto. Today we're going to watch a video of an individual who recently posted a video, looks like April 2nd, teaching people how to use the right to travel. Now, this gentleman seems like a pretty good guy. I'm going to avoid any personal attacks here. We're going to focus the attacks on the ideas, okay? That's what, the thing with sovereign citizens here is it's really the ideas. A lot of these people are good-hearted, good-intentioned, okay? They go out there, they get brainwashed more or less with this ideology, or this ideology is pushed on them. They find it appealing for whatever reason. So we're going to focus on the ideas in this video. I'm going to break this down. This is, there's some wild right to travel stuff in here, but thank you for tuning in. Joe the Lawyer, this is the Common Sense Academy. If you like my content, like, subscribe, comment, and share. Also, consider signing up and becoming a patron on my Patreon. You're going to get extra goodies for being a patron, and you're also donating to this show to make it happen so that we can defeat the ideas of sovereign citizens and bad actors like First Amendment auditors who get out of line. All right, before we watch, everybody raise your glass, your cup in the air. This is the real reason you came. You came for the same time sip. It tastes better when we sip together. I got here, look at this Pepsi Zero Sugar Mango. Let me tell you something. This stuff is good. I like it. All right, everybody, cheers. All right, let's see. This is a little different format here. Let's see what's going on with this guy.
What's up, guys? It's your boy, the Bad Wolf, here to bring you more information on right to travel. Now, I know I've covered a lot of this with you guys in other videos, but I'm going to try to make one longer video putting everything on the subject together, because it still seems like some of y'all aren't doing the research. You're not watching the videos. Okay? I'm going to tell you right now, this may not be for you. Traveling in your personal conveyance may not be for you. This is not an easy peasy cut thing. We are dealing with ignorant, not all of them are, but a lot of ignorant people, ignorant cops, people who don't have this information, okay? They're not looking up the Supreme Court rulings. They're not doing this, okay?
It's not an easy peasy thing, because what you're asking these people to do is break the law and possibly get arrested. And yeah, any day in which that happens is going to be a bad day.
So let's just start at the beginning, and we're going to go from there. Okay, so as I've told you guys before, you should have in your car a binder. What should be in that binder? All right, you need to get the counselor manual that's on my website, blacksite32.com. It's on there. Download it. It's a lot of pages. Print most of it. Print the sections you need. Print all of it if you can. If you don't have that, or you don't want to print all that, that's fine. Next, you need to go and get your local city or state police manual. You Google police manual.pdf. Foreign.
Let me stop right there. Okay, the police manual thing is not a bad idea. Look, if a citizen wants to sit down, read the police manual, go for it. We should all know and be aware and audit the police in a correct way. So that's not a bad thing. But a binder with the counselor handbook, not good, not good. You see, this is where they get into the practice of law, the fake practice of law. That counselor handbook is going to give a person a false sense of security that's going to lead to bad things.
National. Get it. If you're sending me messages and you don't have these materials in your binder, in your car, I can't. I'm not here to, like, I'm not going to be there on the side of the road to talk to these cops for you. Okay, that you have to be able to know what you're talking about, hold your ground, instead of just candying up and going, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Massa." Now remember, they're the ones with the gun, so if they're going to tell you to do something, ask them, is this an order? Are you ordering me? Because if they're ordering you, meaning that, they're threatening you because they're the ones with the gun, I tell them, hey, I don't have to do anything that I don't want to do. And if they're saying, well, you need to comply, needing to comply and you forcing me by telling me I have to comply because you're the one with the gun, then I will comply under duress. And that should be in your police report. Okay? That's what you have to say. Are you ordering me? Because first of all, if you're ordering me, I'm not a soldier, okay? And you're not my commanding officer, so you really can't order me. But if you're telling me that this is an order and that you have a gun, then guess what? I will comply because I don't want to be shot. All right. Which means it's under duress. Which means later on, well, we'll get to the reports and stuff later. All right.
It doesn't matter if it says in the report that you're under duress or not. It's not going to help you out in a police report later on. Now, I always provide this advice. Don't say anything that's going to incriminate yourself, okay? But that applies whether you're under duress or not. Look, the police, yeah, they have a monopoly on the use of force, all right? That's one of the primary purposes for living in a society and having a government in the first place, so that the government has a monopoly on the use of force. And I'm not saying, listen, the use of force should be highly scrutinized by the government, absolutely, and there has to be checks on it. But just disobeying, okay, or only following the orders because they have a gun is incorrect. You follow the orders because that's what the law requires, the law that we've decided on as a society. So follow the police orders. You don't have to say anything that incriminates yourself, but follow the police orders, please.
All right, so the next thing you need to have in there is any proof that you have turned in your plates. Don't contact me if you have not taken your plates off of your car and made your own plates.
There's so much here. I could be interrupting you guys every 1 minute, so I'm going to let them rap for a little bit, and then I'm going to hit each point.
Riding around or hotboying around with their plates on there because you've got a U.S. national card, you are mixing jurisdictions. You can't do that. Okay? You can't. You have to get rid of their plates. If you have another car, you can travel or drive in that car. Don't mix the two. Okay? So keep proof that you have gotten rid of your plates. Keep proof that you've gotten rid of your driver's license. If you're still driving around with your driver's license on you, you're driving, because they're going to pull you over and ask you for ID, and then all of a sudden, you're like, here, run my U.S. national card. They're like, oh, I'm not going to look at that. Okay, so you're going to deprive me of my rights. All right, make sure you put that in your report, because when I take you guys to court and I sue you for deprivation of rights, starting at $250,000, suddenly they're going to start paying attention. But some of these cops are going to overstep. Some of them don't know the law, and some of them are going to be like, oh, that's not real. Okay. Tell that to the Supreme Court, which is, over you and over your commanding officer and over the chief of police and over, I don't know, everything that you guys do. Yeah, look it up. You think I'm bullshitting? Look up Supreme Court rulings, right to travel. There's countless rulings. Okay, brings me to my next thing. Make sure that you download Right to Travel. Okay, go on Google. Type in Right to Travel document. It'll have all. A matter of fact, I probably should have it on my website, blackside32.com. Download it, print it, put it in your binder. Okay, that's just starting off. You should have all those things, all proof of things. And for some of you guys, you're not contacting the DMV after getting rid of your driver's license and doing a revocation of signature, telling them you are removing yourself, you're closing the account. Now, a general letter might work, but generally they're just going to tell you that we don't close accounts here, okay? Which is why I created the letter that I've used, and that you can get from me down below or on my site, where you are going to force their hand legally and legit, and then you're going to put them in a situation where they're going to have to pay you $2,000, $5,000, $100,000 fine if that information is used against you in the future. There's a whole bunch of other goodies and stuff in there. You have to close out your file, okay? And if they don't close it out and then the cops use it against you, you can sue them, the DMV, and then go after the cops for deprivation of rights and violating your constitutional rights and then some. So from there, you've done.
All right, here's one of our breaks. We got 9 more minutes to go, okay? Number one, please, Don't get rid of your license plate. Don't get rid of your license plate. Please, if you get rid of your license plate, you will be immediately pulled over. And nothing in these Supreme Court decisions that he talks about is going to protect you. The Supreme Court on a state level has found that states can regulate the public roads, and they can require you to have a license, to have a license plate, okay, to buy insurance. That's all constitutional, as decided by the United States Supreme Court and within the interpretation of the Constitution. Look, the Constitution was written at a time where there were no motor vehicles. There were public roads, and there was a right to travel on your road, okay, but what they meant was walking. All right, but even horse and buggies at certain points there were regulations and rules. Okay, this is ridiculous. Okay, we're talking about multi-ton metal vehicles moving at a high rate of speed. You think you're just going to be allowed to operate that in public without a rule? It's totally ridiculous, okay? He talks about a U.S. national citizen card. Listen, that's not it. Yeah, the police aren't going to look at it because it doesn't mean anything, all right? It's not sanctioned by any legitimate government body. You can't just print something up on WordPress or print shop and pretend it gives you some sort of rights that don't really exist, okay? You're going to sue the police for $250,000 for deprivation of rights. You won't see a penny of it under this right to travel. You will not see a penny of it. He's right that SCOTUS is the ultimate arbiter of the law, okay, because they interpret the Constitution, but they're not interpreting it in the way that you claim that they are. It's just not true. He's trying to sell you his letter, his stuff on the website. Look, this is a free country, free commerce, all right? But I'm telling you, the stuff in there, probably most of it is only going to get you into trouble. It's not going to help you out, all right? And then he talks about sending a letter to close your account. And this is part of the sovereign citizen theory that there are two people, right? Like you're born and then the government creates this separate entity for you. You know, in a way, there's some truth to that, right? Because you are born a physical material person, but then you're also going to have something like a criminal record, an educational record, these things that certain institutions use to track your history, all right? They're there for a reason. They're not there to hurt or harm you, and the government's not holding a cash bond on you with the government of the United Kingdom. That's just not the case, all right? It's not the case. They don't have an account, all right? They may have a file because if you send it to the DMV, because everybody who has a driver's history and a driver's record, but they're not keeping track of you in any other sense. You can't close out an account that you don't have. It doesn't exist. Please, everyone, please drive around with real license plates. And if you put the fake ones on that we see all the time, you'll get pulled over even quicker than driving without one.
On all that. Now, no plates, no registration. You've closed and canceled everything. You've made your own plates. You've covered your VIN in your window. Now you are essentially traveling, okay? You have changed, you have done your status correction, you've notified the various places, you are legit to travel. Some of y'all may not be built for this. I'm just going to keep it real G for you. Like, you know, this ain't for everybody. You guys can't be going out there getting into these interactions with them and then being like, oh, well, I thought I was just on the do not detain list. I told you guys before, there really is not such a list that just goes, oh, there's that U.S. national, we're going to leave him alone, you know. No, there are databases that contain your information on your status correction, but they're not going to send it all the way down to your specific DMV record, and then the cops are going to look at that and it's going to say do not detain. That's why you have the book. That's why you have the card. And I've been hearing some of these cops don't want to run them because they already know you are outside of their jurisdiction. So they're going to ignore that if they can, especially if you don't know how to search yourself. Some of them have been ignoring people's requests to have a senior officer. If that's how they're going to play it, then you just comply, and then you write a complaint on that cop, get their copy of the report, and you write a complaint about them. You contact the chief of police, and you tell them your officers at this location and this badge number and whatever else deprive me of my rights. If you're not familiar with this is what you put in your letter, then I will take you to the Supreme Court and sue everybody for $250,000 per incident that occurred. Okay, you deprived me of my rights. You didn't allow me to have counsel. You ignored my citizenship and status. But you have to have these things in place before just saying it. So have all these things in place. Don't just take one piece of my video or the next person's video and then just do it. You have to have all of these things done. You've been contracting with these people your entire life, and you have a record built up with them that you guys have never bothered to even to try to get rid of, to close, or challenge, or whatever else. Okay, so when you guys do contact me and you tell me you have had these situations, I'm just going to tell you to buy the form for dealing with court, because obviously, you know, you're not doing what's in the video. Okay, you have to do all of these steps. You can't do a part of it. You still have your, it's like you still messing around with your baby mama, but no, I don't mess with her. I don't mess with her like that, bro. I mean, we don't kick her or nothing. I just go by and we smash her once in a while. Then you're still in her jurisdiction. You have to, you know, if you have more than one car, do what you want to do. You know what I mean? If you drive CDL, then that should say CDL, your personal car. You can travel if you do all the steps. Me and thousands of other people do this every day, and we have like 0 to maybe 1 problem, if ever. You know what I mean? Because we're not driving fast, we're minding the speed limit. They don't have a right legally to just pull you over because you have a private plate or any of that stuff. Okay? If they do any of those things, they're overstepping and they can be held liable. Okay? But you're going to have to be willing to file a complaint. You're going to have to put all this information. You're not going to argue the issue. Don't argue the issue. You send them a letter. Matter of fact, you can be preemptive. Okay? Matter of fact, so when you get all your stuff together, you put it all together, and you can also send it down to your local county register so that it's registered. You have, or recorded, excuse me, you have recorded that you are a traveler. You can contact your governor and say, hey, I am traveling. This is my information. Put it out there. Okay, because later on, if something occurs, like a pullover and it's a crappy situation, there is proof in the public domain that you told them, this is who I am. And this is what they, to a degree, require or ask by law, is that you're going to be traveling, that it is recorded so that they know. Okay, send that same letter. Once you get everything, before you step foot in your car and do any of this, send a letter to the chief of police. Hey, I'm putting you guys on notice. This is what I'm doing. I've already contacted my state governor. They said, you know, blah, blah, blah. I have right to travel. They know it. Put in there some of the information on the right to travel packet, you know, that downloaded book document. Put some of that in there. Send it off to the chief of police, like I told you guys to do before in the other videos. Because if you're not, and these cops are going to overstep, some of them are just going to overstep anyway. Some of them are just straight pricks, but some of them are good. There's countless videos where cops are like, yeah, I know what right to travel is. I'm familiar with the Supreme Court. Have a good day. But just like anywhere, even at the post office, you're going to have one guy that's good and one chick that's having a bad day because, you know, maybe she didn't get none last night.
All right, you are not going to have countless cops who say, okay, right to travel, go on your way. It's not going to happen. You may get a few because they're so fed up with the sovereign citizen nonsense that they will just let you go on your way because they don't want to deal with it. We've seen that many times. Or I love the guys who actually have all of their license and registration in line, but they want to play the right to travel ticket first. And then when push comes to shove, then they show that they're legal and then the police let them go away. But they probably aren't putting that in their YouTube video. Okay, there's no such thing as a do not detain list. He's right. Okay, if the police, you know, if they infringe on these fake rights, you're not. If you sue these people in a frivolous manner, it's a form of paper terrorism. All right, and it will get you in big trouble, even criminal charges. We've seen it several times. Now, basically, the theory that he's saying is, oh, if you get rid of all these things that you've built up with these societal institutions, then you're down to like your bare bones, and all of a sudden, you know, you have these rights. That's one of the concepts in the sovereign citizens is oh, you have, you know, the government keeps tracks on you by giving you a driver's license and giving you a social security number and making you register your vehicle. And if you get rid of those things, then you just have your natural rights because those things are contracts. Totally not true. Totally not true. Whether you get those things or not, you have to follow the laws. The law doesn't function on a voluntary basis. It applies to you whether you like it or not. And you know why? Because the law doesn't work if it doesn't work that way. That's the whole point of the rule of law and having a government in a society, all right, to keep things running orderly and fairly. Read Thomas Hobbes' Leviathan, read John Locke, read some political philosophy. You want some information that you need to read to understand these things, it's out there, okay? Read how societies change, the previous divine right of kings, okay? And then the transformation into democratic constitutional governments, all right? Don't read this nonsense. It's all nonsense. It doesn't work for thousands of other people. All right? Most of the videos we see, it's not working. All this stuff's going to do is get you in trouble, and to a certain degree, this video just sounds like one real long commercial.
Whatever it is, it's just what it is. And don't forget, straight up, years ago, the FBI already put out a report that said there are racist KKK members in the police department. They said that was happening back in the 90s. Ain't nothing changed. All right, now they're just more seasoned. Okay, so avoid them as much as possible. Mind the speed limits. Mind all that stuff. Not because you have to, but because if you're out there traveling or driving fast and whatever else, even as a U.S. national, state citizen, foreign national, if they consider your speed to be endangering your passenger who might still be a U.S. citizen or somebody on the street, you are endangering them. You're giving them jurisdiction to bother you because you're endangering U.S. property. Okay? Because some of those buildings are U.S. property. The street is national and public. Okay? But the person in your car, the person across the street,
he admits that the street is national and public. I mean, that's really all you need to know. As long as it's national and public, then the government has jurisdiction over it.
You might be zooming through a school zone. You're endangering U.S. citizens. You're giving them jurisdiction. So chill out. Okay? Next up, remember, people, I'm not the first person to do this. I learned from old cats who were doing this when I was a kid. Okay? They've been doing it. I do it, and people will do it after us. But you guys are on the front lines if you're going to do this. You can't cry and whine later on that they did this, they did that. Okay, especially if you haven't followed the rules. And even if you follow all the rules, it does not mean that some cop or whoever else might not overstep because they are ignorant of all of the laws. They are taught statutes within their jurisdictions. They are not taught Supreme Court law in rulings for constitutional United States of America nationals.
You don't need to be taught Supreme Court law. Any statute, if it's written and it stands, it is almost 99% sure to be constitutional, because if it's not, someone will challenge it and it will get taken down. Statutes are the law, and we live in a mixed legal system, common law and statutory law. Statutes are the law.
Okay, so for them, from their perspective, they're like, unless they are educated, okay, and that's a whole other series I can make on some being yes, some being no, and how they hire, people in the middle. We'll just leave it at that. No offense to the good ones out there and the smart ones, but you know what I'm talking about. You know those ones who ain't, unfortunately. So even if you do everything right, it doesn't mean that you still won't have problems. You have to be in a position to deal with the consequences of the situation after the fact. Okay? What was it, like months ago?
If you do everything right according to what this video says, you are actually doing everything wrong. Let that stew for a couple of minutes. One overstepped with me, and I had to basically send in my letter that I use and tell them, no, I'm not under your jurisdiction. This is how it's going to be, blah, 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 blah. And it was done with, okay, quietly. They're not going to, put a big TV print out and say, yes, Mr. Bad Wolf got away with this and because he's, blah, blah, blah. No, they're not going to say that. And I'm not here telling you just to try to do stuff to try to get away with it, because the more you bother them, the more they're going to keep bothering you. And if they see that you kind of halfway know the knowledge,
Sir, well, I'm traveling, and so here's my passport card. And they're like, no, give me your driver's license, otherwise we're taking you to jail right now. You know what I told them? Well, take me to jail. I was like, I'm just going to sue you guys, and I bill out at $900 an hour for every hour I'm going to be in there, because I'm a foreign national, so if you want to deprive me of my rights, let's go ahead and get that started. I'm not, one, I don't even have a driver's license, so what are the...
Okay, we're gonna stop right there. This was like sort of like one big commercial. Okay, he's putting all this content out here about sovereign citizenship and the right to travel. It's all BS. Again, it can be seductive for some people to go down this path, especially if they haven't had a driver's license. And I actually have something I don't think we should suspend driver's license nearly as much as we do in this country, because we live in a country where you have to have a job. You have to have a car to drive to get to your job. It's very difficult to use public transportation unless you're in a very large city. I live in a city, Pittsburgh, medium size. If you don't have a driver's license, public transportation is not that great. So we shouldn't suspend people's licenses as much as we do. I actually think that helps feed this movement. So number one, there was so much wrongness that I had to break this video up a little bit and then jump in, and I may have missed some points. The overarching point is, if you get rid of all of those things, like your social security number, your driver's license, then you're actually going to be in violation of the law. By doing what this gentleman says is right, you will actually end up being in the wrong, okay? This read like one big commercial. I mean, holy crap, guys. The amount of people putting this sovereign stuff on the internet is just unbelievable. And on YouTube, it's just out of control, despite the best efforts of me and Van Bayon and Virgo Triad and Schrodinger's cat of exposing this ridiculous stuff, okay? And you can see down here, if you scroll down on his YouTube, he's got a bunch of affiliate links and things that he's offering. And then here you can see the order files. These affidavits, it looks like the fake sovereign citizen documents. Be very careful messing around with those. They will get you in trouble. They will get you in a lot of trouble. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do me a favor. Don't go and drop comments on his page or anything like that. Leave your comments here for me. I am going to, you can see there. I'll link to it. But I'm here trying to beat the nonsense, and going and being rude about it on someone's page. I don't think it helps. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Common Sense Academy. I'm your host, Joe Palmetto, Joe the Lawyer. Exposing sovereign citizens every day is what we do, and First Amendment auditors who get out of line. If you like my content, please consider signing up for my Patreon. I would truly appreciate it. Every penny, every dollar that you give to me helps me free up more time to make more fun and entertaining and informative videos like this. Okay, before we leave, my patrons who make this possible: Andrea, Marie, Jonathan, Thomas, Michael, Art Vandelay, Jacqueline, Richard, Pim, and Romantis. Thank you guys very much. You are the best. All right, Common Sense Academy.